So today we'll start a new topic, graph coloring. As the name suggests, this will be all about coloring the various components of a graph. Okay, what all components do we have in a graph? As remarked earlier, the graph is composed of two things. First one is edge and second one is vertex. So we will be coloring either the vertex or the edge. More formally, in graph theory, graph coloring is a special case of graph labeling. It is an assignment of labels traditionally called colors two elements of a graph based on certain constant. Mark my word, there are some constant. Okay, what are those constant? Okay, we will understand this in this part. So painting all the vertices of a graph with colors such that no two adjacent vertices have the same color. So this is my constraint or this is my restriction or condition that no two adjacent vertices should have the same color. So this is called my property coloring of a graph or simply coloring. As there are two components of a graph, either vertex or edge. So corresponding to that, we do have vertex coloring, edge coloring, and we have another component that we may regard as some face. So this is my face coloring. Okay. Moving on to the history, how from where came this problem of graph coloring? Why we need to color graphs? So this came from the problem that how should we color various countries or various states of a map such that no two adjacent parts do have the same color. So coloring theory started with the problem of coloring the countries of map in such a way that no two countries have a common border receive the same color. So this is one of the example are India that is colored with four colors, and corresponding to this we do have a four color theorem that for every planar graph can be colored with four different colors. So as remarked earlier, we do have three types of coloring: vertex coloring, edge coloring, and face coloring. So in vertex coloring, we will color the graph, basically the vertex of the graph, in such a way that no two adjacent vertices do have the same color. For edge coloring, we will color the edges of a graph in such a way that the no two edges that share a common vertex do have the same color, and similarly with face coloring that the two faces which share a common edge don't have the same color. You can go through the definitions as well. So this is our main topic. Vertex coloring is usually used to introduce graph coloring problems since other coloring problems can be transformed into a vertex coloring instance. What I mean is, in this graph coloring problem, we will mainly focus on vertex coloring. Why? Because an edge coloring problem can be converted or can be transformed into a vertex coloring problem by use of its line graph. Similarly, for a face coloring problem, that can be converted to a vertex coloring by using the dual of its graph. This may be possible that you don't know what is line graph and what is dual of a graph. We will understand these topics in next slides. So line graph. Line graph is basically, suppose this is my graph, I do have 5 vertices and corresponding to this, we do have 6 edges. In the line graph of this graph, what we will do is, we will make these edges the vertices of our new graph, and corresponding to these vertices, we do have new edges. So see here, this was my main graph and this is my converted line graph. Here this 1 4, like 1 4 represent this edge and this is a new vertex in this case. Okay, and there will be an edge if and only if two edges share a common vertex. That means this, suppose this 1 4 edge and this 1 3 edge, they do share a common vertex, that is 1. So we will having an edge in between these two, 1 4 and 1 3. We are having an edge in between them, and correspondingly we will have edges for other vertices so obtained. So this is how we can convert a line graph that is a that is an edge coloring problem to a vertex coloring problem. Okay. Further moving on to our main next topic, that is dual of a graph. Dual of a graph, that is for planar graph. Planar graph, what I mean is, how can we convert the problem of face coloring to vertex coloring? What we do here is, for each face, we do have one vertex. So we replace each face, like we do have here first face, this face, 1 2 3 4. So basically we are having 4 faces. So corresponding to this, we do have each vertex 1 2 3 4, and we do have an edge in between them if these two faces are separated by one edge. Okay, so again this face coloring problem is converted to vertex coloring. There are some terms associated with this graph coloring. A coloring which uses at most k colors in the graph in is called a proper k coloring. Okay, what I mean is, suppose this is my graph, and what I do is, why suppose I color this with green and this with blue, this with purple, this with red, and finally the last one, let's say black. This with black. So what I am doing is I have cleared this graph of mine with 5 colors. So this is a 5 colorable graph. Okay. And here's one thing. The smallest number of colors needed to color a graph G is called its chromatic number. The smallest number of colors that we need. What was our condition? That none of the two vertices which share a common edge should have the same color, right? So do we need 5 colors? Or we can manage for less colors? Okay, let's try to clear this graph. We'll start with green itself. So this is my first color, green. Can we color this as green? No, because this share a common edge. So we'll use a different color here. We can color this graph as green. Can we color this as green? No, because this two again share a common edge. That means we have to use some other color. So here red. We can't use red here, but we can use red here. And one more color. So this is. So we have to use at least 3 colors to satisfy my condition, to satisfy or to fulfill my restriction. And this list number is called chromatic number. So chromatic number of this graph is 3. Again reading the definition, the smallest number of colors needed to color a graph G is called its chromatic number, which is often denoted by the xi of C or gamma of G. Since xi of Z is used to denote the Euler characteristic of a graph, the coloring so used is optimal coloring. Okay, either we can use either of these two notations, but this one is preferred because this is used in some other place as well. And this type of coloring where we obtain the chromatic number is called optimal coloring. A graph that can be assigned a proper k coloring is called k colorable. So like this graph we can color either using 5 colors or 3 colors or 4 colors, but not less than 3. So this graph may be termed as either 5 colorable or 4 colorable or 3 colorable. But if this graph can be called as 5 chromatic or 4 chromatic or 3 chromatic, no, obviously not. This graph is only 3 chromatic, but colorable for colorable it may be either 3, 4 or 5. Okay. Now another thing, a subset of vertices assigned to the same color is called a color class. Like for this chromatic, for this 3 chromatic graph, we do have 3 color class. First one corresponding to red, second one corresponding to green, and third one corresponding to this purple one. Suppose we number these vertices as V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. So first color class corresponding to red, that we have as V1, V3. Second color class corresponding to green we do have as V2, V4. And third color class corresponding to purple, that is V5. So this was all about the color class and some terms associated. Now we do have some so-called obvious points which are obviously not so obvious. Okay, this was a tongue twister. So in coloring graphs, there is no point in considering disconnected graph. Why there is no point in considering disconnected graph? Because like you have having two components. Let's say this one is your first component and this one is your second component. If you color one vertex of this graph, would it affect this graph? Like here you do have edge, but if you choose, like suppose you choose a vertex v1 from this graph and a vertex v2 from this graph, obviously you won't have any edge, so this won't affect at all the coloring of the graph, right? So this is generally for the connected graphs. And second thing is, all parallel edges between the two vertices can be replaced by a single edge without affecting the adjacency of vertices. Because in graph coloring or the vertex coloring, we check if two vertices are connected or not. We don't check if they are one connected, if there do exist one parallel edge, two parallel edge, three parallel edge. Okay, parallel edge itself means two edges. Even though if there exists one edge between two vertices or two edges between two vertices, this doesn't matter at all. What matters is if they are connected or they are not connected, right? So there's no meaning of considering this parallel edges. Self loop must be disregarded. Suppose if you consider a self loop, then no graph can be no vertices can be colored at all. Like this is my vertex and we do have a self loop. Suppose this is colored with green, but we do have a loop in between these two. These two or either say this vertex only. So can this be colored with any color? Obviously not, we can't color this graph. So there's no meaning of considering this self loops, right? So the coloring problem, for coloring problem, what type of graph do we consider? Only simple connected graph and no graph other than this. Mark my word, only simple connected graph is considered for the graph coloring problems. Okay, now some observations which you can observe or can you observe. A graph consisting of only isolated vertices is one chromatic. As the graph is isolated, so there won't be any edges in between any of the two vertices. That simply means you can color each vertex of graph with the same color as this won't violate your restriction or condition, right? And second part is a graph with one or more edges is at least two chromatic. Okay, if there is one edge, obviously you will need two colors. First color for this, suppose red, and suppose for this green. And if there are some more vertices, you will have either two colors or if there is some connection, like if there do exist some edges, you may need two or more, but at least you will need two. Okay. If H is a subgraph of G, then chromatic number of H must be less than or equal to G. And this is also obvious because the like a subgraph do have a subset of vertices and edges. So number of vertices and number of edges that will be less than or equal to that in the supergraph G. So obviously chromatic number will be less than that in the supergraph. Another part of graph G having n vertices has chromatic number less than or equal to n. A complete graph, like you are having a graph, obviously you can color its vertices with a different color. So at max the chromatic number will be n itself, that is the number of vertices, or in other cases it must be less than or at max equal to, right? A graph consisting of simply one circuit with n greater than or equal to 3 vertices is 2 chromatic if n is even and 3 chromatic if n is odd. And last part is G1, G2, Gr are the component of a disconnected graph. Then chromatic number is equal to maximum of either of this component, right? You can verify this yourself. Okay, from the next video onwards, we'll discuss some theorem based on the graph coloring. And thank you so much. Stay tuned for upcoming videos. Thank you so much.